We're on, Coach.
Hi, everyone. It's 11:04 EST. It's time for Mike and me. For our new viewers that are seeing us on different venues or platforms, I'm Dale Pinkert. I'm head of trader development at TradeGATEHub. Find me on Twitter at Forex Stop Hunter. And I've been working with Mike Venezia. Mike, how you doing today, buddy? Kind of the market had a little shock yesterday.
Sure it did. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for the introduction, Coach. And I, of course, am the head trader at TradeView Markets. You can find Dale and us every day, all day, one or the other, if not both, in TradeGate Hub, where we uh, curate a lot of trading plans for the short, medium, long-term trader, curated basically upon option, price action, volume flow. We don't like to split the atom. We go with the trend. And Dale usually leads off with videos early 9 o'clock Eastern, I believe, and that really sets the platform for the day. Coach.
Okay, I really appreciate that, Mike. I've been talking about forecasting higher yields for a few weeks now. And after the CPI yesterday, we had a breakout. This is a 2-year note. And when you think about it, sure, it could be a failing rally, but, the October highs when 10 years were five, it's within shooting distance. It's up around 521, five and a quarter. So we've recovered almost a whole point since February. And unless we start taking out this breakout, the path of least resistance is higher. Just
Sure.
with also, but the other side of the coin is I had a red dot target for TLT. Okay, so I believe we almost got there. Yeah, here's a red dot. So it's done nothing right yet, but I was figuring around 89. That's a layup from here. And I would wait for a reversal day to go with it, not just buy it at 88, 890 and hope it reverses. Let it give you some evidence that that might happen. And the other thing that's also manifesting, I've been talking about for quite a while, is I've been talking 106 in the dollar. I actually have higher
Wow.
targets now. We're at 105.43. So, I bought this after the Fed. I still have some dollar longs on out of my pound shorts, unfortunately, but still long the dollar. Here's a dot that I put up at the end of last month, around 106. There actually counts around 106.70, and some of the real bullish counts are talking, 108, 110 higher, and that's also because you had a breakout in U.S. dollar yen over 152 on that number, and we know that we're taking out 30-year highs here, Mike. You brought it up that something that hasn't happened in 30 years you have to pay attention to. I know guys looking for a 160 handle or better on the yen, which is another bullet for higher yields and the bond vigilantes to keep taking rates higher. Um, I'll just wrap it with silver. Looks like it's finally getting tired here. What a nice run, beautiful run on the weekly. Some people might be surprised of where I think we're going to be able to buy it, but you could look for this is a 5 wave advance. You could look for sometimes a wave 4 or 2 could pull back all the way back to the wave 4 of lesser degree. So, that's $25.
Dale, may I ask?
Yeah.
This red dot is new. Is this dynamic or do you move it?
This dot, I don't know. Maybe that's where I thought it was gonna
No, I like
go
that.
before it turned. It's just a brush function
Right, right, right.
of
I got you. Oh, okay.
yeah, and gold's hanging in there, but we're well off the highs, and wave 4 would be down here around 2150. So, if that plays out, gold has a lot of work to do for that to happen, take out some moving averages. But most importantly, to negate the throw over, and that's moving up slowly, but it's about 22.70, and we're still $70 away from that. But that would negate the throw over that we had on the daily. See pretty good on the daily. It's way down here. And here's 2140. Your 50 day is all the way down here. Anyway, it seems aggressive, but if the yen's going to 160 and the dollar's going to 106.70 or maybe even higher, that's probable. And it also kind of reinforces that we have entered a corrective phase in the S&Ps. So, I talked about a real important areas is 51.49. It's a weekly 9-week moving average. Look at that. So there's Wile Coyote. There's only 1 day left to reverse the damage
Yeah,
from
true.
yesterday.
True.
And last week we had the 2-week reversal. It rallied into the close, but my area was sell at 52 to 52.20. That was a pretty good sell. You had a couple opportunities to do it. This was Friday 52, then took it out a little bit, but we're on the verge. If we start taking out this weekly closes, 51.40, and it's also be the second week in a row. When these weekly 2-week off numbers come in, Mike, they don't all work like everything, but
How
it's
you
always
handle them.
good. It's
Yeah,
always good to have confirmation
true.
to a signal that you got previously. And I'd call this down week confirmation to the message the 2-week reversal was telling. That was the market tell. So we're having a bit of a rebound. Looks mainly NASDAQ
Correct.
centered, Mike. So,
As we posted in TGH, a couple of call sweeps,
okay.
and I'll show you what I do best. Of course, I use this cliche that coach is the smarter when I say leave that to the professionals, and there you go with a great look at where we are with the
You,
market.
you know what, Mike? I'm the smartest guy in San Diego pushing a shopping cart.
All right.
Anyway, go
There's
ahead.
20,000 people there. I don't know the sample size there.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Okay. Here we go into TradeView Markets, which everybody knows. If they don't know, sponsored TradeGATEHub. I'll just go with the TradeGATEHub, and this is how I sign in, just like everybody else. Not the OJ Simpson, by the way, just passed away. You know the coach?
no.
Yeah. So I needed a minute. With that being said, is for those that aren't familiar and want to get more familiar, what we do, go to the YouTube icon. Coach and I do 2 videos a day. Coach before the morning, me throughout the day, as well as posting. Listen, it's an international room. There's a lot of things going on. It's never short of action, if you will. Okay, as you said, there's our YouTube channel. Get to know us, whatever to fit your needs. Okay, the bottom line is this. For example, a little bit what more of what I do is predicated upon an almost a 30-year career as a I would consider a high level trader. It's arguable, but I don't see many people arguing. That's fine. If they want to, no problem. With that being said, as always on TGH, we give always we start with data. Data which is basically unbiased and not filtered. I don't give opinions on today's top upgrades. I'm not giving opinions on what cent or what credit default swaps is doing. I can, and that's what the videos are later in the day. But here's upgrades, here's downgrades, initiation, VIX future positioning, equity markets positioning, movers. Jim Cramer with dealing with aftershocks of strategists who missed the inflation scenario. But basically paraphrasing what Coach did to a degree. I don't know really. It doesn't matter what level of a trader you are. After a couple of days like this, and if you're so intense on where you're actually tuning in on an active room like TradeGATEHub, everybody should be aware of what the Qs are doing at this moment.
Yeah,
And
heavy.
yeah, well, it is a macro picture, Coach, and you know what?
Yeah,
That's why we're in a style. This is a room for everybody's style.
yeah,
I'm the guy that takes money out of the market days. You're a planner. You're like an engineer. You know what I mean? I'm a guy that takes, I'm a bulldozer. I just try to knock everything over and take some pieces out, With that being said, is we posting
Okay.
the number that moved the market
And
today.
you do it well.
I appreciate it. Touche. There's our number of PPI. All right. Uh, also, let's keep going.
Tomorrow we have all the banks, Mike.
I know that, Coach. It starts off earnings season, as well as you pointed out. It's getting later in the week, being a Friday, so somebody's got to make a move. Excuse me, a positioning shorter term, quicker, if you will. We'll get to the VIX in a second. Always movers, always stocks that I'm posting. Okay, let's give you an example. This was an hour ago. There was only two calls going off that I posted. What's that?
A lot of puts being bought, it looks like.
Well, actually, that was Nevada and calls. That was
okay.
Yeah, that was Apple bullish. Those were actually bullish calls. You ask about some minors. So let's
go. Yeah, I asked you about Apple on Skype. So they're buying calls.
So here was SMCI right when we posted it. I'm not here to, I posted what, MCI 10-930. There's SMCI calls, and here's NVIDIA calls going off. All right, they're at the high of the day. And here's my universe. Just like you said, you got to keep aware of what's thing. There's still, the VIX is actually popping nicely, but the market, to me, I don't watch the indices. Of course, I'm watching Chevron and EOG and the former leaders pull back on low volume. Okay, so NEM takes a rest. So this is a day that they go back into Google. Is it yet to be determined? There's Google. I mean, they could have, you know what I mean, Coach? Amazon, we're both waiting for the best of breed, if you will, to break. So, there's Amazon. So it really doesn't matter that they're selling off Square. They're going into mega cap. And to me, that's even more defensive to a degree. Here's my cyclical sector, and I posted in TGH. Let me get back to a second, Coach. If anybody wants to take some questions. Here it is. The H, thanks for putting. And similar to yesterday, this is the macro picture. Looks like there's possible pair trade going on. They're long tech and they're short cyclicals. Let's go. Here's my universe for those that follow. Here's technology. It's yet to be determined if Amazon's going to break, but there's Uber bouncing nicely. There's Avago, a semi. They're with the city. Here's Avago, the former Broadcom. So they're rotating. Okay. I don't want to be redundant. Root, there you go. This is healthy. Root closed at $86 yesterday. It's down 20, the high flyer. So they're taking some juice out of the punch bowl of the speculative stocks and going into some safer ones. There's Root. That was emblematic of being a spectacle.
You're getting a pullback in the coppers too. Freeport.
Coach. Yes. There's FCX. You know what? I don't see. This is another thing we do best in TGH, or one of the things we do, Coach. And you always ask, is a strong stock like this that's been taking calls, Coach? Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't. I caught it decently for months. Now you want to see. I don't care what the symbol is, but let's use copper. You want to see these call flows that we follow right here. Right here. You want to see guys go backing up right here. CRW. So somebody's trying to pick. By the way, Coach, leap sweepers are huge. In TGH, there were two leap sweepers the past year. Do you remember? The guy that picked Google down here, and the guy that picked Citibank down here. So this guy's going into the best of breed 2026 leap on a 3.4. Hold on, get back to a $3 million trade going into cybersecurity. Here's the long-term chart right there. So there he is. So there's another cybersecurity stock, ZS, I guess, trying to base. So let me go back here. So this guy, when he's telling me there's no speculation, 3.4 million. This guy's going January 220. Keep an eye. And I like to look at this because it's a best of breed. It's not some guy trying to get sexy. It's a leader. Keep your eye on it. I'll get back to my screen in a second. So that's option flow I'm familiar with.
It's a little worrisome. What really moves these stocks sometimes are major cyber events. And
that's Coach. Right? We're in it. I agree, but we're in it to make money, not be right. I'm aware of it. I can stand up.
Well, I'm just saying what it could imply. That's all. I'm not saying not everything I say is about a trade.
No, that's second level thinking. I understand.
So anyway, I'm just
that
was my reaction to huge bets on cyber.
All right. Here's another one from the Jesus feed. Basically, the paraphrase is what's going on. It's 11:18 EM Eastern. This came out 11:05. And this is, by the way, part of what we do as opposed to news, CNN Fear Greed 51. These are daily movers. These are percent gainers, whether it be 15 minutes, whether it be percent gainers for the extended 15% gainers for the day. Percent losers, maybe for 60 minutes. See what's going down with some decent volume. CGC, the cannabis stock, in the last 60 minutes has done 2 million shares. So it's pulling back a little bit. We'll go to the chart yet to be determined if it's a trend change or still active. As we all know, we've been posting for
Yeah.
the past month. So next, that's part of what we do. Getting back to my point on this one. Hold on, coach. Let me get back to here. OJ hit the bid. OJ hit the bid, coach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
SPY bullish, Q's bullish. I lost my train of thought to a degree, but you get the picture.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Okay.
There's my
words of,
universe.
yeah.
Oh, I know what I was thinking of. I apologize. I was going to the Jesus feed right here at 11:05. Right here. I apologize. I had blinking lights going up. Let me make sure I'm sharing. And I would say this is a proper paraphrase. Seeing continuation of rotation into secular growth names off rate cuts, all short-term dated, except for maybe CRW data. The VIX is elevated, so people are trading options. I get it. I'm not sticking my neck out anymore and saying anything. I get it that Amazon might break high. I'm aware of it. I get that Microsoft might take out the high, but I'm not totally convinced. And by the way, if they do, I think there's such a beach ball underwater of these stocks that if they do break high, you'll get a decent continuation. That's just me. I don't know if I'll be in them. Not really seeing any aggressive put buying in the cyclicals. That means there's profit taking, not just, that's it. It's over. But handful of names seeing protection. NVIDIA, SMCI, AMDMU. And we pointed it out a couple of hours ago, if you will, but they're taking out semis right now. Major industries struggle. Like I said before, I don't care what the indices are doing. Care less. I'm aware, but volume bids as cyclical see some selling. That's it. I know today is not going to be I'm not going to put myself in a different tax bracket, although if I don't pay attention, I could it's not going to be one of those days for me when I get aggressive. And here's my feed that just comes across right now. And the reason why I'm not going to get that aggressive is because right here, the banks are coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
And if anybody watches what I do, I think earnings and earnings plays are going to be more tantamount than what the Fed is doing right now. The Fed has been prevalent the past couple of days, and we're still having, wishy-washy, moving. But I think earnings are going to determine either the short, like Lulu. I'll use the Lulu example, and I will leave it off here. Lulu was a former best of breed high flyer. This Lulu got hit not because of the Fed, it was because of an earnings move. And a lot of these stocks that are not performing well are getting hit on earnings. Regardless of the short squeezes are over, and you could see something like Root. The juice is out of the punch bowl. If something's going to make sense, maybe somebody's going to take a shot at Apple here, which is very ominous. I mean, that's one. Talk about the beach ball. I mean, that's one beach ball away from going to, as you would say, 150. And you've been right on this thing since 190.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Once again, go back to our YouTube channel to edify the statements. Good call, Coach.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, I mean, it's been in breakdown territory for over a month and hasn't made any downside progress either. Makes me a little concerned. You've heard that, never sell a sleeping market. Apple's kind of been sleeping. So maybe it's going to wake and squeeze some shorts, squeeze me a little bit here. Anyway, I'd feel worse about not being there and having to go trade 150 than being wrong and having to go back up to 180. So that's where my head's at on Apple.
I appreciate
But I mean, really, a pretty interesting week. Would you say good trading volume all week, Mike?
No, actually, I believe the liquidity died out a little bit, and I
Really?
find myself a high flyer rent, if you will,
Wow.
always an act. No, I find went from 6 to 24, by the way, on 29 million shares. Always something to do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Hey,
Brent
I
has one.
noticed that weird stock. What was it? Dollhouse or something like that? Went
Oh, I traded it today.
all the way back to the lows, didn't it?
Where is it? DXYZ. Destiny Tech.
Yeah.
This one was 110 2 days ago. I traded only 600 shares. This is me, coach. I had to be.
Mike's a market.
This is me
Mike's all
buying. I
marketing.
scratched in it. My first buy, it's right here. Fact. I
Yeah.
first bought at 54. My last buy is the last triangle at 52.
Yeah.
The low was 49. I'm saying I don't want this thing anymore. So I put an offer. I think my average price. So I put an. I mean, I think I made like 8 cents just so I have a win on the board. But the risk
Yeah.
wasn't the reward. That was off by $3. But
Do they
I'll show you the
do
trade.
does an algo call you and say, Mike, it's okay, we could take your order now?
Well, you know what? That's
What
coach.
are spreads like on that?
Here it is. I bought it. I bought it right here. I bought like 800 shares, whatever it
Yeah.
was.
Oh,
What the
is that
spreads
what you
like that?
call
See,
a
this is what I
schnitzel?
wasted my time. I should listen. It's trading. I should either be in for 2,000 shares and try to make a couple of 800 shares. What it did, it's just like putting on bug spray and not no bugs coming on you. I mean, it's just like a film on me.
Yeah.
It didn't feel right.
Yeah. A schnitzel.
That's correct, the schnitzel.
All right, bro. So it's great to have some new viewers, and the content in the room is outstanding. Alexis and Mike, what they put out there. I'm not as frequent of a poster and more like, swing levels where I'll get interested in. So anyway, there's at least a good narrative. No one that's heard me should have been bearish a dollar
True.
or have bought bonds a month ago.
Well,
So, uh, you can't be right everywhere, every day.
no, if you
You
think
just
you
have to be,
are, if that's the
yeah,
number one, that's the number one thing to be wrong. No, you can't be right every day.
no,
Jesus, you have that mentality, you know what I mean? That's why
yeah,
even doctors aren't. That's why they malpractice, God forbid.
yeah. Anyway,
So what
I think,
listen, the bottom line is this. This is what I do right now. All right. A lot of moves have been made as this is the semi situation. Let's keep an eye on the cyclicals, just like we said before. So suppose after I do this video, I'm going to go back and this is my universe. Percent gainers on the day. Rent I already brought up. Normally does 40,000 shares a day. There's 30 million. I get it. You know what I mean? That's about how it closes. I'm probably not going to be it. So these are the movers on the day.
okay,
And I look for decent volume. UVIX doesn't. This is very rare, by the way. Very rare
right.
that you see the UVIX up 6%, still near the high of the day, trading 50% of its volume after it's made an up move.
Hey, last week when the market came back Friday, the VIX gave up very little.
It gave up very.
And it was a weekly reversal with the S&Ps by a mile. We have, weekly reversals to the upside in VIX and to the downside in SPOOs.
Well,
So
we had
take
been
it,
posting this for a while in TGH.
yeah.
I think
So,
it was Zero Hedge that kept posting it. That
oh yeah,
April was going to be a month of VIX volatility, no matter what happened.
okay, here we
I
are.
think Alexis, no, we might have that. I'm not calling you out on it because it was a long time. All right, so the volatility, what does that mean? You asked me about liquidity before. I'm trying to cut down my size. I'm aware that mega caps, but these these low, you don't want to get. I'd rather get stuck in trying to buy Apple down here than get stuck in a low floater with liquidity and low volume dying. So the
Yeah.
banks are coming up. You just got to adjust. And the VIX gets elevated. That's my bread and butter. I don't want to be stuck in these long. I don't want to be making these nice day trades, taking money to make out of some loser. I'm down six figures and it just bleeds down. I can't stand that. It's happening now. It happens all the time.
Transparency, Mike.
Yeah,
Enjoyed
just
catching up with you on this day. I think now that we have some different equipment, we have a time limit. I think 30 minutes. So we're getting close. How do you want to wrap?
okay. A couple of things. All right. I'll I'll give you a trade right now. You want to ask? There's always another trade. It's getting to know getting to know your style, our style. Uh, there's always another trade. Understand this. Coach and I make as much money as doctors do. Doctors go to med school for 10 to 12 years. to get familiar with their practice. It's a marathon, it's a sprint. Like I said in yesterday's video, an expert sailor never learned to sail in
I
calm
like that.
waters. For those that are not familiar with it, either get the demo account if you want to try a different style, cut down the size, just get used to it. You have to be able to adapt. I consider myself a 5-tool trader, but in the market conditions where I previously said before, maybe I become a 3-tool trader. You know what I mean, Coach? You leave it. You're the perfect person with segues and how to end it.
Remember, this is just money. So count your blessings, not just your pips. Be grateful that you're even in the game, that you have, should be, risk capital that you're trading with, where you don't have to make a decision between groceries and the heating bill and a prescription. So embrace your failures. That's where we learn the most. And reduce your leverage so you can let your trades breathe. And I'll wrap it on that, Mike. Reduce your leverage so that you can be wrong for a day and still make money.
No, it's a
Uh,
chip in a it's a chip in a chair. Without
yeah.
you can't sit down. You gotta be in it. And just though it's a marathon. All right, it's a process. It pays off when you open the office to the door and literally look at your desk and say, what are we going to do and how much are we going to make today? Knowing that, maybe 7, 8, 3 out of 10 times that win percentage is arguably between 65 and 70. It happens. And it's anybody could pick a winner. It's real pros know how to handle losers. And I never learned anything in a bull market. I learned more in a bear market.
So I think people are going to have a correction. I don't think that, I'm not a crash guy here,
I'm not
but
crash.
4,800 I still think is viable
That's
into
fine.
May. So we'll see. And maybe traders will learn some lessons if they see low gravity again. Sober them up. And that's a wrap for me, bro.
I appreciate that always. And thank you to TradeView Markets, which sponsors TradeGATEHub and TradeGATEHub, always taking comments, questions, even complaints to a degree, just as long as we can build you more quality over quantity, just like Coach and I want to do over these years. It's not, we don't, like Coach says, when he posts, it's about, you listen, you know what I mean? It's not a bunch, like we said, we're here to post and help the process. Silver to obtrusive. All right, thank Coach.
Okay, who
Appreciate it.
cares
We're on
about
every
that?
day, or
I want to know
sometimes
where
twice a
it,
day.
I don't want to give these markets a personality. I just want to know where they're going.
Yeah.
So good working with you, Mike. Nice broadcast.
Thank you, Coach.
And like everyone else, I'll see you in the room.
Okay, we'll be here. You got to
Okay.
ask.
All right,
Cheers.
buddy.
Thanks, Team TGH behind the scenes.
Thank you, team.